What up, y'all? It's James, aka Doja, coming to you live. Thanks to Blacck Smoke Productions. This is my interview. I'm originally from Detroit, Michigan, west side of Redford, if you know where that's at. Shout out to my people up there. Shout out to my boy Antoine. Shout out to my boy Peyton. Grew up with that, man. That's my brother right there. Shout out to my grandparents. Shout out to my grandma. And after living up there for about 9 years, my mom decided to move down here because the city was falling apart. If you guys know anything about Detroit, Michigan, it's not the best or the prettiest city ever. It's a lot of terrible shit that goes on up there. And my mom just decided to move down here because she wanted to start a better life and give me a better life to grow up. But while I was up there, I hung a lot with my uncle and my granddad because my mom was a single mom. So I would always go to my grandparents' house and my uncle lived with them because he was still young. The time I wasn't with my granddad, I was with my uncle. And my uncle, he was like big in music and computers and stuff. Like, he's the one that really showed me music. Like, producers wise, like, my favorite producers to this day are Neptunes, and that's just because of him. Because he used to blast everything produced by Pharrell and Chad, really. And that shit used to be cool to me. There was a lot of times he would like listen to music. I'm like, let me get a mix of that. It would be like the dirtiest version of the whole project. He would bring me a CD and every single cuss word in that CD was remixed, so it didn't sound like any cussing was in it. I was just like, whoa, like I never knew you could take a CD, replicate it, and then make it a totally different project. That shit was crazy. I was like, damn. I used to get music all the time from him, and that's really where I got my sense of music from, influences and whatnot. But the time I wasn't with him, I would be down in Detroit with my granddad off of this street called the Shore, by the railroad tracks and the Galaxy Coney store. That used to be the shit, by the police department, deep in the hood. I used to be up there working at the chop shop with him, and like scrapping cars and stuff. We would get cars that was busted or just tore up. We used to strip them, take all the metal, throw it in the back of his pickup truck, and go cash out at the junkyard. I was like 6, 7 years old, man, coming home with like $150 every weekend that I went to go chill with him. At the time, it was just me and my mom because my dad was never around in the picture. So we were just living in this house and whatever. I used to try and save my money, and the money that I saved up, I would buy like little gadgets and shit that I could build, just trying to engineer some shit. I didn't even know what I was doing. It was just cool to me. But the money that I didn't keep, well, the money that mom needed, I would just give her that like it was nothing. But after that, after 9 years of that, we moved down here to Atlanta. I stayed in Cobb County for a bit. That's where I first came to. Shout out to my boys over there, Humphreys Hill. Y'all know where that's at. But it was rough, man. Coming down here, like people rejected me because for one, I had an accent, and this shit was just kind of weird, you know. They didn't really accept nobody different. But then as I got older, like I kind of grew into the culture and started really fucking heavily with a lot of Atlanta artists and shit. And yeah, man, made me who I am today. So that's my origin. Alright, so how I got my name? That's a good question. Honestly, I went through hella phases of trying to figure out what name to use. When I first started, I think my first name was like Corrupted Kid, and then Golden Animus. Bro, I fucking hated that shit. I don't know why I chose that shit. Like, I used to play a lot of Assassin's Creed, no flex. I used to be a fucking nerd, man. But I was like, you know what? I'm gonna use Golden Animus. When I dropped my first legit project called Golden Animus Life Slips, I used to pass that shit out at school, and everybody used to be like, who the fuck is Golden Anus, bro? Like, when I tell you these niggas fucking clown me, bro, I wanted to give up making music. I was like, bro, fuck that shit. I was like, I'm never making music again. But then after that, I was like, fuck it, I gotta keep making music. So I changed my name. After that, I changed it to Gold Doja. I don't know why I changed it to Doja. I think it's because I started smoking hella weed. Like, I used to smoke hella weed in high school, like fucking crazy. And I was like, I'm gonna just take Golden Animus and create Gold Doja out of it. So I was rocking with that for a minute, and I started dropping songs. Like the first song I dropped that really hit was New Life. They got like 5K plays in like 5 months. I was like, damn. It was on SoundCloud too. But after that, I was like, go Doja, not kicking it no more. Everybody at school started calling me Doja. So I was like, fuck it, I'm about to just rock with Doja because that shit sound fire. So I was like, bet. For a minute I started rocking with Doja. And then like my life kind of changed after that. I had a dramatic event in my family and I had to grow up real quick. I kind of like I quit smoking for a minute, man. That shit was crazy. So after that I was like, fuck it. I need a new name because I don't really smoke like I used to. So I was like, I'm about to rock with James. I think that shit sound more sophisticated and more solid. And it's more true to myself too, because my middle name is James. But I use Doja for my producer name and James for my artist name. And that's how I became the person I am today. The artist I am today. That's where I get my name. Major influences. There's multiple sides of that. Producer-wise, I'm really influenced by Neptunes, Pharrell, and Chad, bro. Them niggas fire as hell. I don't know the third dude name, bro. I honestly don't. I just know about Pharrell and Chad. I used to listen to a lot of Nerd growing up. My favorite album by them is In Search Of. That shit is hard as hell. That shit be thumping. If you know Nerd, listen to that shit. If you don't know Nerd, listen to that shit. That's that shit. Another one of my major influences when it comes to R&B is Donnell Jones. That nigga cold as hell. Listen to his shit. Donnell Jones. He got that classic shit. Outkast, great influence right there. Fucking some like new school I listen to. I'm like old school. Shit. I don't know. I can't listen to nobody new school really. I just feel like new shit is kind of weird. Oh, Travis Scott. I fuck with Travis heavily. SZA. Some people say SZA, some people say SZA. I fucking say SZA. I don't give a fuck what you say. But more producers. Drummer Boy Fresh. Sunny Digital. That nigga cold as fuck. I met that nigga in Atlanta. That shit was dope as hell. Polo the Don. You know who that is, I fuck with him. Metro Boomin, that nigga, fire shit. Influence for me. K Tronada is another major influence for me. That nigga cold as fuck. My boy Nitser, that nigga really taught me how to like fuck with beats. Like that nigga showed me a whole nother side of beats. Shout out to that boy. My nigga B1, that nigga fire as hell with the production too. And my nigga Wooski. Basically, everybody I was fucking with from the beginning, I really am influenced by them. So, I try to keep the culture together. Put it out there for y'all to see. It's my influence. How I got started. I really didn't start recording myself making music until I got like 5th grade. My teacher had a project. It was like a science project. I was in advanced classes too. This shit was crazy. I'm a nerd, no flex. But it was like create a song about stem cells or whatever, how cells were discovered. So I was like, yo, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this shit to my uncle, cause my uncle had moved down here in Atlanta. And I was like, yo, Unc, I wanna make a song for my project. He's like, alright, cool. So he pulled up a beat. I don't know where he got it from. He found it. Threw that shit in Audacity. Everybody know what Audacity is. You've been making music for a minute. Threw that shit in there. I started writing my rap. I was like, yeah, he was fucking with it. I recorded that shit. That shit was hot. Personally, that shit was hot as hell. You know, it's about some motherfucking cells. So anyways, I took that shit to school, showed my teacher. She was kind of like iffy about the shit. She wasn't really fucking with it. I got a bullshit ass grade. It was like a 60 on that hoe. I was mad as fuck. I put all my all into this shit and I didn't even get graded for it right. I was like, fuck it. Whatever. It wasn't until like I got into middle school when I really started making music. We were still on some bullshit though. We used to be at the lunch table, beating on the table in the cafeteria, making beats and shit. My nigga Jeremiah Flax, that nigga used to fuck up the table, bro. Talking about some African type beats. Nigga. Boom, 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 boom. We used to rap on that shit, freestyle. It was really on some bullshit, but I used to make everybody laugh. Got in so much trouble for that. I had silent lunch like every other day. But when I got in high school, in 9th grade, is when I started fucking with SoundCloud. Like, I recorded this one song. It was the Motto remix. That shit had just dropped. I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna drop it. So I had found this app on my Samsung Galaxy, and you could like record yourself over beats that they had put on there. So I did a remix to it. That shit was going in. I dropped that shit on SoundCloud. That shit started doing numbers. I think it got like 600. The crazy shit about that though, I recorded that shit on these headphones my mom had bought me for my birthday. Off of this fucking microphone right here. And that shit was booming, nigga. Like, that shit crazy as hell. So after that, started doing numbers. I started making more music. After that, I dropped this song called New Life. I had just broke up with my girlfriend. Just broke up with that bitch. I was mad as fuck. But I ain't dropped that shit until after I broke up with her. The craziest thing I've ever witnessed, and I keep telling my bros, and he can vouch for you. If I make a song, whatever I say in that song becomes a reality.
It happens, bro.
I don't know why, I don't know how.
Shit happens,
but every time I make a song, I live that shit.
We was just listening to the shit that we was just working on.
The shit we working on right now, we're probably gonna show you soon.
We was listening to his verse, and that shit just happened last night, bro.
I predicted this shit. It was like, you need a new life? Well, that's cool, right? If you really know me, then you know that song. But I dropped that shit. That shit hit 5K in like 5 months. I was like, damn, this is the hardest shit I've ever dropped. That shit booming. So I was like, okay, now I gotta step it up. I started fucking with more people. I started fucking with my nigga B1, my nigga Wooski. All them niggas started making more hits. And on the R&B side, I kind of taught myself how to sing a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I ain't the best at that shit, but it's gonna be fire, watch. So I started fucking with them throughout the summers and just building my way up, learning my craft, creating better music. And it led me to where I'm at today. That's how I got started. That way, straight like that. You did? You feel? Alright. I got 2 mixtapes on Spinrilla. Search up Doja, you'll find me. High Art EP. That's the first one I dropped on Spinrilla. And the second one is... Oh, the second one is Doja the Wolf. That cover art I did myself, which is right there. I don't know if you see it. But yeah, I did the cover art myself, and I dropped that my last year of high school. I currently have an album out that is for stream everywhere. You can download it and purchase it on iTunes. It's called Death of Doja. It's on Tidal, Spotify, Pandora, iTunes, all that shit. Look it up, you'll find it. That's my current work. What's next? I can't tell you what's next, to be honest. I got like 2 mixtapes lined up. We got a group tape lined up. I got a whole album lined up that I plan on dropping this September. But I have absolutely no idea when I want to drop this stuff. Literally no idea. I got a couple singles coming up that I should be dropping soon on SoundCloud. Y'all can check those out. Plus check out the stuff I already got on SoundCloud. But new music coming soon. I just hope that you stay tuned. It's coming.